Ladies and gentlemen,
Daryl Laub. Thank you very much, but I tell you, it's really tough to follow the real pro out here, and that's Mary Davies. My son had to point out that I was 32 years old when I did that. Where did the time go anyhow? Well, first of all, I do want to thank quite a few people, which I can't name them all, but the first person I think of is my dear departed wife, Nikki, who was the heart and soul of me. And then my wonderful children, Darcy and Ethan, and her husband, Rick. You kids are great. I can't forget, there's a man here. I think, Harold, you were going to the University of U of M then, were you? Well, anyhow, he was a man who worked behind Captain, did a lot of the puppets, and he would pop out of the set, and he'd give me different unusual objects, which I really can't talk about. You can ask Harold. By the way, that last scene with the Bad Habit courtroom, I want you to tell you, I wish we had I'd give anything for a shot of that. You saw the big finger there? I want to give a special accolade, is that right? To my old friend, Roger Kent Vogel. Roger did the puppets, he did, here he is the Indian, he was the Irish cop. We called McCarthy because there was a lovely restaurant out there, just by coincidence. One of those things. But Roger was a genius. Roger, I thank you. I know you can't be here, but he was, of course, he caused me a lot of trouble until we'd always come in at the last minute. And the last 5-6 years, I had a little script, a skeleton script, so we could tell where the cues were and the punchlines. Roger never rehearsed it. He'd bop in and he'd say something completely different. Well, back to the Bad Habit. The Bad Habit, Roger was behind there and he had 3 wires to pull. One wire was the jury, and one wire was the judge, and Roger had a big mallet. When he hit that little thing, he'd wham it, wham it. And then the third one was a wire where the Bad Habit stood on a trapdoor. And you'd pull it, and the Bad Habit would disappear. Most of the time. The times it didn't disappear, Roger was a very uninhibited person. He'd reach over with his human hand in the court set with the big mallet and pound it through the trapdoor. Yeah, he caused a lot of gray hair, but he was a genius in his own right. He went on to do his own hunting and fishing show. He did a wrestling show with so many people who are here tonight, like Al Narusha. And anyhow, there's so many people I know I'll forget to mention. But one thing I would like to mention, I think with no exceptions, that all of us in those days, we didn't have writers, we didn't have producers. Oh, a few of you may have had producers who would help out, but it was up to you. You did your own show. You produced your own show, you thought of your own props, and then I'd ask Harold, we're going to have a shaving scene, not with a razor. We need an electric razor. Take care of it. A block of wood, cut at an angle, a rope tied to it, that was a razor. So anyhow, that's the way it went. I only have a few minutes, thank goodness. But there's one story I think you'd appreciate. The first show I had at KSTP, I had to do a morning show and an afternoon show, and it happened to be a snowstorm, and I knew I couldn't get there in time, so I stopped at a filling station, called the director, and said, I won't be there. He said, what do we do? And I said, you go in the wardrobe room, which was a men's bathroom. I said, you'll find in my suitcase another outfit, and there's a wig, a clown wig. There was a bed on the set. I said, you put the dummy in the bed, and then you try to wake me up. I said, I'll try to get there before the show was over. Well, what do we do in the live part? I said, you'll make a lot of noise. You'll have explosions, you'll have the foreman walk by hitting garbage cans, and I won't wake up. He said, yeah, but, and then I said, I'm here now. I jumped in bed, threw out the dummy. The last live bit, he said, what do we do? I said, get somebody down here. You got a good sound effect? He said, I got it. I said, have him drop a coin. It'll go tinkle, tinkle, and I'll jump out of bed and say, who's making all that noise? End of the show. Thank you very much.